In this video, I'm very excited to share my top 5 habits to unfuck your life. If you're feeling low energy, purposeless, and without any direction in your life, this video is for you. Because just 3 years ago, I was in a similar position. But this is when I realized that you have to control the habits that shape your life. And when you do, that you will end up in a much better spot than you're currently in. 1 second, I have to help my dog on the couch apparently. Opa, Kira. Of course, I can promise that the 5 habits that I will be sharing today will help you as much as they did for me 3 years ago. All I can say is that after I implemented those habits in my life, it completely changed everything. So if you're currently in a place where you don't feel like you're living up to your full potential, make sure to watch the video until the very end. Because the promise that I make in this video is that when you watch it to the end, you will have learned a framework on how to allow more consistency in your life. Secondly, how you can reprogram your mind for success. Third is a habit that allows you to keep going even when things get hard, motivation is low, and you feel like giving up. Fourth is about how we can stay mentally and physically fit. And the fifth is all about how we can stay reflective throughout that whole journey and to know where we currently stand, what the progress is, and to plan our next steps. If you consistently implement those 5 techniques, you will know exactly what you want in life and how to get it. So let's dive into it. My name is Simon and I'm an accountability partner. And what that means is that my goal is basically to hold you accountable in order to reach your goals. Because I believe that no matter who you are or what your goal is, there's just one way of reaching your goal, and that is to put in consistent work. However, of course, life gets complicated and is very distracting, and that's why most people are struggling to be consistent over a longer period of time. And this is where I come in, because I have developed frameworks and systems that ensure that you will be held accountable in order to reach your goals. Because I believe that consistency wins, but accountability is what actually gets you there. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, because this is where I upload weekly videos about accountability, habits, systems, and methods that help you reach your goals. If you're struggling with making consistent progress towards your goals, or if you don't even have a goal in your life, book a free introduction call with me and we will figure it out together. I put a link below this video where you can book a free introduction call with me. But now that this is out of the way, let's dive straight into the video. Let's start with the first habit that completely transformed my life, and that is to implement a morning routine. And yes, talking about morning routines has become very popular in recent times. There are a lot of videos that promise you to be more productive if you wake up at 4 a.m., you take a cold shower, you run a marathon, you go to the gym, you make your perfect breakfast, and then you're ready and set for the day. And it seems like the more extreme your morning routine is, the more attention you get and the more people think that you're this insane kind of productive person. However, no one really talks about the real benefits of a morning routine when done in a way that is actually uplifting you and making your life better instead of being a self-punishment habit. And the reason why I have started to implement a morning routine in my life 3 years ago was not about cold showers or some mindset stuff. It wasn't really about that. It was all about allowing consistency into my life. And let me explain what I mean by that. When I started my morning routine 3 years ago, my goal was just to have 2 hours of undisturbed time before my day actually starts. And for me, having 2 undisturbed hours every single day was just not possible to have it in the evening or the afternoon, because there were just too many distractions going on. I wanted to go to the gym, I was answering messages, people calling me, my phone notifications were constantly blinking, I was tired from work, and so on. So when I made the decision to take my productive hours from the afternoon into the morning, everything changed for me. Because all of a sudden, everyone was still sleeping, no one was disturbing me, no one wanted anything from me, and I could just completely focus on what I wanted to achieve on that given day. And this is also why I put the morning routine habit as the first habit that I wanted to talk about in this video. Because if you're mastering to implement a morning routine in your life with the goal of freeing up 2 undisturbed hours every single day, the rest of the 5 habits in this video will just simply fall into their own place. And the reason for that is that you now have a 2-hour undisturbed time slot that you can consistently fill with the following habits. If you were intrigued by the thought of starting a morning routine but you never really know the reason why, just remember that it's all about having undisturbed time so you can be consistent and focused on the thing that you actually want to achieve. If you maybe have tried implementing a morning routine before but you were never able to make it out of bed consistently over a longer period of time, watch this video up here where I break down my full experience and the one simple hack that made it so easy for me to consistently get out of bed early. The second habit that really completely changed my life was to reprogram my mind for success. And let me quickly explain why I think that this habit is so crucial and so overlooked. Because I believe that if you're not happy with the current position in your life and that you want to make some changes, you have to make changes from within. And what I mean by that is that I believe in order to reprogram your life, you have to first reprogram your thoughts. And the reason for that is that your thoughts shape your mind, your mind is shaping your actions, and your action is shaping your reality. So for you, in order to change your reality, like maybe your job, your partner, your financials, your weight, or whatever it is that you're unhappy with, you first have to start with changing your thoughts. So now the question is, how can we actually change our thoughts? And the answer to that question is actually much simpler than you might think. And the answer is not about some kind of meditation, even though that can be very helpful to a lot of people, or some kind of spiritual focus. It's all about your content diet. Because in the recent decade, our brains have started to be bombarded with a flood of information. And with the not so recent rise of Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Short, our brains are just overflooded with useless information and a lot of irrelevant internet drama that is just numbing our brains. Because maybe you heard the expression that you are what you eat. And the same is true for our brains. Our thoughts and emotions that our brain produce is shaped by the content that we feed it. If you want to change your life, you have to start from within and change your thoughts, which we do by just changing our content diet and managing what kind of information we actually feed our brain with. Think about it. Compare someone who constantly doom scrolls on TikTok and does nothing else with their brain other than just feeding it irrelevant content versus the thoughts of someone who constantly reads, educates themselves, listens to stimulating podcasts, and watches educational content on YouTube. You can easily tell which kind of person will have more stimulating thoughts and therefore will be also more likely to take meaningful actions towards the goals that they set for themselves. And if you understand that and you start to implement changes in the content diet that you have, and you start actually feeding your brain with useful information and information that will uplift you, you will naturally get inspired, your thoughts will flourish, your creativity will explode, the brain fog will dissolve, and your overall thoughts will just become more positive over time. And now, if you're giving it some time, your thoughts will actually lead you to take different actions in your life as well. And that sometimes even starts unconsciously, because maybe all of a sudden you skip a takeout from McDonald's, maybe you visit a network event that you heard about on a podcast, maybe your increased creativity leads to you starting writing poems, and it could be whatever, but the point is that your content diet will change your thoughts, which will then lead to actions which you would have never done otherwise. And then before you know it, the actions that you have then done will actually start reshaping your reality. You will get to know new people, you will learn new things, you will step out of your comfort zone, and before you knew it, your new actions will have reshaped your new reality, which would never have happened if you just constantly doom scrolled on social media. So in short, your content diet is shaping your thoughts. Different thoughts lead to different actions, and different actions lead to different realities, and before you know it, you have changed your life just by starting to make some changes in your content diet. And if that sounds interesting to you, but you don't know where to start, watch this video where I break down every single step that I took in order to take control of my content diet. Now, the third habit that completely changed my life is to practice delayed gratification. If you never heard about the concept of delaying gratification, it basically means to avoid what feels good right now in this given moment with something that actually matters later. A classic example for delaying gratification is fast food, which feels amazing in the moment, but you know that the long-term implications of fast food are just simply not good for you. And practicing delayed gratification basically means that you're able to say no in that moment to that burger and eat something healthy instead, because you know that this is better for you in the future. And for me, this concept was very, very important to learn, because most things that give you pleasure in one exact moment or immediately usually come at the expense of something down the line. If that is doom scrolling on TikTok, eating fast food, drinking alcohol, not going to the gym, or watching Netflix all night, all those things usually come at an expense sometime in the future. So implementing the habit of delaying gratification basically means that we are structuring our brains to not constantly give in to the easy way, to not constantly choose the path of least resistance, and that we're not constantly giving in to expulsive urges that we have. If you implement the habit of delaying gratifications in your life over a longer period of time, if you do it consistently, you will experience a lot of benefits. One being that you build resilience in your brain, your dopamine levels will normalize, your energy will come back, your motivation will increase, and you will constantly feel that you're actually in charge of the decisions that you're making every single day. I also made a separate video about delayed gratification and how you can actually implement it into your life, so watch this video right here. The fourth habit that is absolutely crucial in order to change your life is to exercise on a daily basis. And this is an obvious one, so I will keep this one short, but it's basically all about healthy body, healthy mind. And that basically breaks down to if you're feeling good in your body, if you're healthy, and if you're fit, that will directly translate to your energy levels, your motivation levels, and your overall well-being. And when I say exercise your body every single day, I don't say that the goal should be to have a perfect beach body or something like that. The goal is just to activate your body, which then activates your mind, and you will feel just more sharper and on top of things compared to when you're not doing that. And it doesn't have to be more than 20 minutes. You just can do it from home. You don't even need to sign up to a gym, because if you just do a small workout consistently, you will see the progress over a longer period of time anyways. And now we are already at the last habit, habit 5, which is for me journaling. And to me, journaling is almost like a reward habit, because this is where you can reap the rewards rewards of the habits that you actually implemented. In my journals is where basically everything comes together. All the habits that I create are being reflected and kept track on in my journal. Here's where I keep track of my habits and my consistency. It's where I keep track of my progress. It's also where I can reflect how I feel with the progress that I'm making. I can remind myself why I started a certain habit and how it's currently going. And if things are going good and I'm heading into the right direction, it's also where I can pat myself on the shoulder and reward myself. Because for me, there's nothing more rewarding at the end of a month to look back and see how consistent I was, what the progress was that I made on a given month, and based on that, what my goals are for the next month. I basically look at journaling as the headquarters of my life, where I am in charge, I can make decisions, and I can plan and structure my days and my months however I see fit. If that sounds interesting to you, watch this video where I break down how I journal every single day in order to make sure that I'm on the right track in life. Alright, so there you go. Those are the 5 habits that completely changed my life and that I believe can change yours too. And remember that the most important thing is consistency. And if you're able to show up consistently every single day with those kind of habits, you will be able to change your life within a matter of months. And again, I'm not saying that this will work for everybody, but it did for me and it completely transformed my life within just a couple months. And I'm still practicing those habits almost every single day after 3 years of starting it. And if you have trouble defining a goal in your life or being consistent with the habits that you know will make you reach your goals, click the link below to book a free introduction call with me so we can have a look what is holding you back or where you currently stand in life and what kind of support you need in order to make the progress that you deserve. Also, please let me know in the comments what habit completely transformed your life. I'm very curious to read all about it and I'm answering to every single one of you. Remember to subscribe to my channel for weekly videos and see you in the next one.